Well, hello. Welcome to Seattle. It's lovely and absolutely marvelous. Oh, yes. Oh, don't try this at home, kid. See, he actually walks like that in real life.
This is me.
Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
We really love it here in Seattle.
We really think so.
The climate's a little bit like London, England.
It is rainy.
It's rainy and wet and dull, but really very nice people. So it's very lovely. We're having a good time.
Seattle Center is hosting the annual Folklife Festival. Hundreds of thousands of people are coming down, and Craig and Robert came down to the station early this afternoon so that they could go over to the center and see some of the Folklife Festival. So rather than having them in the studio during this first break, we're going to go to the Seattle Center. And Craig and Robert, can you come in right now to the Seattle Center?
Yeah, I can hear you, George. I can hear you.
I can't hear him.
What you got to do is put your finger in your ear. Got
yeah.
Can you hear me?
Hello.
All right,
yeah, I
George.
can hear him now.
Here we are in the Seattle Center, standing on Seattle's very own version of the grassy knoll.
Brilliant.
I didn't realise there were so many homeless in Seattle. Look at them.
Terrible, isn't it? They're all standing around. They've got nowhere to go.
Street people.
You'd think they'd have done something about it in America.
Well, we're having a fantastic time. The
Brilliant,
Silver
yeah.
Needle's just over there. The Space Needle. And it's great, loads of singing. There's more English culture, Scottish culture, and Irish culture in display here today.
And there is in England, Scotland or Ireland. It's
true.
Extraordinary.
This is true.
We're having a brilliant time, aren't we?
Yeah.
Brilliant time.
I love, we've been river dancing, playing the bagpipes. He was going to get his face painted, but you know, he's very good at it.
Yeah, there we go. That's good.
So anyway, I'm going to try and get a hot dog, because I've never had a hot dog, not in America, so it's my first American hot dog. Hello, can I have two of the old-fashioned hot dogs?
Sure. $6, please.
Two you prepared earlier?
Well, that's extraordinary.
That is
They are
amazing.
so efficient in America.
You were
Things just get done really, really fast.
You're reading my mind.
Do you need lemonade?
Do I need
Lemonade?
Lemonade.
lemonade? Well, go on then.
Yeah.
Hang on.
That'd be good, yeah. Two lemonades.
Yeah, two lemonades as well, please.
$10.
$10. How much is that in English money? Or do I? I get confused with the American money, you know.
$10.
It's about £7.
I think you're right. That's, in fact,
Well
you're
done.
absolutely spot on.
Go ahead and grab your
Oh, that's here.
Oh, these are lemonade, or should we get these?
Excellent.
See, look at the size of that one. And have you got mustard?
Gorgeous.
It's right over there.
Oh, wow.
Mustard's over here.
Thank
Okay.
you.
My first American hot dog.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, what prop one? We're eating these now. Onions.
Do you want a mild mustard shot? Oh, I'll do that one first.
No, I went for the hot mustard, mate.
I'm going for the mild.
Bit of dill. That's
Mild
because
mustard.
you're just a soft southern wuss. A little bit of sweet relish. Bit of tomato ketchup. I'm going to need this lemonade after this. I tell you.
There we go.
Good. You're off your bloody head.
Oh no, that's recycling. I won't do that.
You see the amount of people?
Yeah.
You're off your head, you are. Dancing like a white guy. That's like a white.
Where's the tooth? Where did the tooth go? She's the same age as Holly.
Is she?
Yeah. Where's your tooth?
What, 3 million years old?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello.
We're not going to make it.
Robert's just got a new baby. It's the same age.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Ah, you're mad for me, aren't you? Go on, you're mad for me.
Oh yeah, that one. Oh yeah. Can't do it now.
the last I heard, that was the first episode of Series 7. We have 7 more tonight. Don't go away. We have Craig Charles and Robert Llewellyn from the production of Red Dwarf in the studio. Well, actually, they're in the building. See, they went over to the Folklife Festival, and our cameraman came back. You saw him in the first break over at the Folklife Festival, and I understand that they're either coming in. They're in the building. Are they in the building now? Let's take a look and see. Can we see them anywhere? Do they have a hot dog?
Maintain helicopter cover at 500 feet. We're going in.
Late as usual.
How you doing, George?
I'm doing fine, Craig.
Well,
How's the Folklife Festival?
it's amazing. We had such a good time. Yeah.
So many people.
Yeah, isn't that something?
Yeah.
Great.
And then our volunteers came down and tried to find parking. Wow. Bye. Okay, are you having a good time in the Northwest?
Having a wonderful time.
We have
really
a
good.
brilliant time. The people here are so nice. This is the nicest American city I've been to. And I'm not just
you very
saying that, you
much.
know. These are the nicest people we've met so far.
Yeah.
We've been all over America.
I'm Ken Vincent. This is KCTS 9, and we are joined by a couple of people who are very popular on Channel 9, and they are from a very long ways away. Actually, probably not as far away as we are used to seeing them doing their work. They're from across the water, from Great Britain. We're joined by Craig Charles,
Hi.
who plays Dave Lister.
I do.
On Red Dwarf, and we are joined by Robert Llewellyn, who plays Crichton.
That's right.
Does Crichton have a last name?
Yes, he does. 2X4B 52RC. I think that's his. That's
May
his
we
full
call
name.
you by your first name?
You can call me by my first name because I have.
It's quite a jerky middle name,
It's
isn't
quite a jerky middle name. 2X4B. Such a jerky middle name.
Welcome to Pacific Northwest.
Thank you for
Thank you.
having us.
It's great to be here.
Do you? You have a lot of fans here. You probably have known. You've been out and running around.
Yeah, he's quite lucky though,
day or
because
two.
he wears a mask, so everyone thinks he's my agent, don't they?
Yeah.
Have people recognized you since you've been here?
Oh, an awful lot, in fact, yeah.
Really?
Shocking,
It's
yeah.
surprising, you know. You don't expect it here. You know, I used to come here on holiday, so, you know, I could get away from the sort of adulation in Britain. But now it's really starting to pick up here, you know. I got at least 15 to 20 people approached me while I was, and that was just in an hour walking
Yeah,
around.
just walking around the streets. Yeah.
What's the reaction to, let's say, in where you're from?
I'm from
in
a place
Britain,
called Liverpool.
From a place called heard of it, actually.
Yeah, the Beatles came from there. In fact, I am the illegitimate son of Paul McCartney. But he never writes and he never faxes or phones or anything.
What's been the reaction among you who do the show to the popularity in places so far away, like here?
We always knew it was going to be a hit in England, but you don't really expect sort of British comedy really to sort of travel. You know, because
You never think of it beyond the shores. No, we never thought of it that it would go anywhere else. It was always a surprise, and every time we hear anything back, that it's like in Australia, for instance, and New Zealand, it's hugely popular. And I go to Australia quite often. I've had to sign an autograph on the beach in Australia because I had no paper, no pen, nobody did. And I met a woman who said, sign your autograph. So I wrote my name in the sand and she took a picture of me standing next to it. And it was like in the middle of nowhere. It was extraordinary. So when that happens to you, you just think, what is this show? You know.
Well, way
really,
back
really
when,
surprised.
in 1988, when the show went on the air, actually, let's go back a little bit before then, when all of you were getting ready to plan and do the show. Did you have to audition for your parts, and did you have any idea about the characters?
Robert came in late. Robert came in Series 3. We were ahead of the Crichton before you, didn't we?
Yeah, yep. I'm
And
second
it's really
hand
quite
Crichton.
weird because we wanted him to come, the other Crichton, to come and do it again, but he wasn't sort of available. So we settled for this chap.
The new boy.
But now, having done it for 8 years with him, you couldn't really imagine anyone else playing Crichton, you know? But with me, I was doing a series called Saturday Night Live, which is kind of similar to your sort of American version. And they sent me the script and asked me to read the part of the cat, because they wanted my views on whether the cat was racist or not. You know, because it was this kind of funky black chap. And I said, no, it's not racist, it's great, but can I come and read for Lister? because I'm quite like Lister in many ways, especially in the underwear department. So I went in and read for Lister, and they went, yeah, great.
Really?
So it was that simple.
You just right off the bat knew that you wanted to be Dave Lister when you got the script.
He felt very much like me, you know. He's sort of, you know, I come from kind of very working class origin. I mean, he's very like me. Plus, you know, with me being like sort of mixed race sort of thing, it's kind of ironic that the only human being left alive is this amalgamation of all these different bloods, you know. So, but Lister wasn't originally a colour or anything like that. He could have been anything. The American pilot, he was like a 6'4", blonde-haired, blue-eyed sex god. He was so sexy, I would have shagged him. And that was weird watching someone else play Lister like that, because you know he was really handsome, wasn't he?
I can't
Very handsome
boy.
What had you done before?
Oh, lots of stuff. Saturday Night Live, Wogan, which is a chat show. I started off as a poet. I became famous in England for writing poems, and I used to do sort of topical poems on television, that kind of stuff. So none of us were actors. He was in a band called the Joeys, weren't you?
Stand-up comedy and comedy theatre and singing and stuff like that.
And Chris Barry was an impressionist. He plays Rimet. And
Danny.
the cat was a dancer. Danny
Yeah, he was in
a dancer.
Cats. He was in the original cast of Cats
Cat
in London.
was in
yeah.
Cats.
Yeah, he was in Cats. Yeah.
So none of us came from an acting sort of background. We kind of which I think the first sort of series you can tell that. But I think we gradually got better, although I still haven't had any lessons yet.
What had you done?
I'd done a lot of things. I mean, I've always been a writer primarily, so I'd written the reason I got that part was that I'd written a play that was on at the Edinburgh Festival, which is a big theatre festival in England, in Scotland, and I'd written a play called Mammon, Robot Born of Woman, which was like a comedy Frankenstein woman making the perfect man type comedy play, where I played a robot, and it completely unlike Crichton. It was one that was meant to look like a human being, and he goes wrong, and it was a comedy show. And the producer then of Red Dwarf saw it, and then he said, if you want a robot, because I did a lot of funny walks and silly accents and lots of different voices. In fact, the Crichton voice effectively came from that play. I used to do a sort of my cod version of what I thought was a Vancouver accent, because I'd spent some time in Vancouver. I know it's not a Vancouver accent. I realise it's not at all, but that's sort of vaguely where it came from.
The original Crichton, the first few
Well,
scenes
I
he
did it in English.
He
Yeah,
did
so
a
like
very
an
English accent, sort of like CP3O, right?
Yeah, C3PO, whatever it is. Yeah. And that was one of the problems. We didn't want him to be like all the other comedy robots. There was also Marvin the Paranoid Android from a show called Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, which is primarily a radio show. Very funny robot in that, but he was like a very depressed English voice. I've got the brain the size of a planet and you want me to open the door. Something like that, wasn't it? It was very... and we wanted to try and find a way to make a new version of it. So kind of a mid-Atlantic and guilt-ridden. Somehow it sounded a kind of guilt-ridden accent for me.
It was hard for a few people to believe that you actually did speak with a real British accent, because you did
Well, I
such a good job.
Well, that's very sweet of you.
Complimenting you
I
there.
know.
Let
I'm
me finish
I'm
complimenting
I know.
you.
Yeah, I know.
Now, how good a Vancouver accent?
It's not a Vancouver accent at all. No, I wish I
That's,
could do a Vancouver. Yeah.
That's something else. Do you like playing Crichton? I mean, is this,
I love doing it.
it's not a
but
comfortable
it's
role
not a comfortable
in terms
role.
of costume.
It's
Oh,
definitely
he's
not.
constantly crying.
Let me have a
just
cry about
goes
it.
on and on and on. I walk into... He's in makeup about 4 hours before us. It's really good. And so he's been like at work for 4 hours before we arrive, and he's sitting there and he moans about how uncomfortable and how hot he is, and he's just moan, bloody moan. I'll never hear the end of it.
I actually get an enormous amount of support and sympathy from I do. I mean, they're amazing, because they have to put up, in a sense, with as much as I do, because just to hear me whinge and scream on. But it's as uncomfortable as it's possible to imagine without being injured. I think it's on the very upper limits of discomfort, human discomfort without injury. I have no physical side effects from it whatsoever. My skin is, after a series of Red Dwarf, it improves.
How long does it take to get on the
It
costume?
actually takes about 2.5 hours to put on, about an hour to take off, and I can't eat when I have it on.
It used to take longer, though, didn't
It used
it?
to take a lot longer. In the first series, it was 5 hours to put on, which was... There was one time when I was going down the lift...
Practice made perfect.
Yeah.
There was.
But I was going down the lift in the hotel we were staying in at 4:30 in the morning to go into the studio to get the makeup on, and when the lift doors open, I saw Craig and Danny, who plays the cat, coming in from a party. And they go, "Come on, we're going up to a room." I was going, "I'm going to go to work." And that's how different our lives were at that time. You know.
Because I could just arrive, you know, stick on the dreadlocks and go. You know?
I was just going to say, it sounds like everybody from the start got along. Did everybody? How was the cast and the crew in the beginning before you really knew, before characters were even developed?
Well, we were all very young originally. I mean, it's 10 years ago. I was 22. I mean, we were just kids. We were just learning, you know, from our mistakes, basically. You know, we sort of made all our mistakes in public as well.
Did anybody have any idea that this series was going to go on for as long as it did?
No, not then, did we? I mean, when I did the Series 3, we had a party at the end of that. I always remember that. And we all went, and I was looking around, I was going, oh, that was fun to be on in the end of this show. And they'd done 3 series. Wow, you know, really a lot. You know, for England, that was like a show that had run for 3 seasons. And it was really talked about, that was it. And it was great to do it. And we all had to sort of cuddle, and we had a big party. And that, you know, I honestly thought that was the end of it. I didn't think I'd do it again. You know, and I was glad I did that. And I had other projects in the can at that time, which were going to clash with it, so I had to be careful. I didn't want to do it again. They all died as soon as this thing went on. I went, oh, that's the end of that, and then it just went on and on and on.
Well, what was the reaction in the beginning when the series first was released?
Do you want to hear a review?
Absolutely.
That we received. It contains a swear word. I apologise for that in advance, but it was a review from Time Out or something like that.
City Limits.
City Limits.
Which no longer exists.
Which no longer exists, but the review was, this is the voyage of the starship Red Dwarf. Its mission to boldly go where many sitcoms have gone before up its own bottom. Very at home in this part of the television anatomy is Craig Charles. Where does this man come from? Is he from a distant planet called Renter Liverpudlian, or was he spontaneously generated by a TV screen? No matter, Charles and this series are heading for a sticky end. And City Limits doesn't even exist, the magazine, anymore. They crashed. So we got some bad reviews. I mean, we only got like 500,000 viewers. And the last series, which is about to here, 8.9 million.
We went over 9 million on one
you know,
which in the UK is
massive.
A big chunk, because there's not that many of us. When we're all very tight together on a little place.
They like that. They're tight.
They like that.
We like that.
Room. You've got more room here.
You've got lots of room.
Lots of room.
Lots
here.
of wide open spaces. Lovely. We love it. We love America. We love Americans. They're lovely.
Was it a slow snowball, or did suddenly people discover Red Dwarf?
Slow, really.
It was slow, wasn't it? I mean, I think the third series was where it got
about 5 million.
Yeah, it got a bit bigger in the third, and then it sort of just continued upwards. It hasn't peaked yet. I mean, you know.
Yeah, so I was still hoping to peak.
It's only gone
one
up.
stage.
So we've only had more people watching and more, and it's also within the sort of TV establishment in the UK. It's been a peculiar hybrid show that's always been off in one corner. I mean, there's lots of we have our own theories as to why that is, but it's been completely ignored. I mean, we won an Emmy Award in America before we'd even been nominated for an award. We've never been nominated for anything in the UK. Now, this is a show that gets 10 times the viewers of some other shows that won nominations and got prizes and got.
It's the most watched show on the channel. It's the most.
The TV establishment have kind of begrudgingly put it on over there. It's sort of science fiction.
Still to this day?
Not now.
There's not even a photograph of us in the BBC.
Yeah, that is a peculiarity. It's a very. I mean, the BBC is a.
It's the number one show, and there's not even a photograph of us at the Beeb. Very, very strange people at the Beeb sometimes, aren't they?
It's a very peculiar place, the BBC.
Well, it must have been difficult because the program was full of, I'm sure, even for BBC, raw language and
well, I mean, there are other shows.
Humor.
There are other shows that the BBC put out that are, if anything, ruder. I would say that have more sexual innuendos.
But I don't think there's that much raw language in Red Dwarf, and there's not much sex either.
There's not a lot of sex,
isn't it? In fact, I want more sex in Red Dwarf. Come on, now, 3 million years in the future, and I still haven't been laid yet. You know? It's terrible. Rimmer's a dead guy, and he gets snogged 3 times in Series 6. And I didn't get snogged once, and I'm alive.
Well, now...
I'm vibrant, you know, I'm vibrant.
I think you do get to have... you and Rimmer, actually, do have...
Yeah, don't blow it, but yeah, full tongue job, that.
Big kiss. Went on and on as well. After they said cut, they were still going.
Oh, we were still going for hours. But afterwards, it was like, all right, okay, let's go and play a bit of football outside now. We're really macho, you know, I'm going to ride my motorbike and, you know.
How much freedom did you have, or have you had, in developing the characters? Were they fairly clear-cut, and did people in the beginning say, this is what you are going to be, and this is how this is going to go, or was it fairly improvisational?
There was no characters, really, just a script. And I think we're all very much caricatures of ourselves, you know. Rimmer, Chris has got lots of points which are Sounds terrible to say this, doesn't it?
Because they are quite similar.
He's got lots of points about him which are very similar to Rimmer. I've got a lot of... Rob Grant, one of the writers, tells a story that I was getting worried that, you know, people were associating me too closely with Rimmer and thinking I was a bit of a slob. And I was you know, doing this eulogy about, I'm not like Lister, you know, and people seem to think I am. And while I was doing it, I took a sausage from Danny's plate, squirted some tomato sauce onto the table, ketchup onto the table, rubbed the sausage in the ketchup and started eating it and putting it in Rob, you know, and he just went, look at you, look what you've just done, you are Lister, now go away. So we're all very much caricatures. Robert is the most polite man in the world. So,
thank you.
You know, so he's very like Crichton, you know, he's
I love
guilt-ridden.
hoovering. I love vacuuming, you know, I love a bit of vacuuming and laundry.
So there has been, you have been able to...
I mean, they've listened to us, the writers have listened to us over the years, and there's definitely aspects of all our characters have appeared without question in the show. I mean, it's...
How...
Sometimes sly digs as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes a few sly digs.
Sly digs have come in, yes.
Thing that, if you watch the program back to back, series after series, things have changed. Do you want to talk about changes that maybe have been both, you think, for the better, and also the ones that maybe have not been the greatest decisions? We'll get into the ups and downs.
Yeah,
of the
the ups
program.
and downs. I don't know.
I think, see, you've got to develop. You can't just stay exactly the same, otherwise you'll die. So it's like, I mean, the first couple of series were very much like a sitcom format, you know, very long dialogue scenes between me and Rimmer in the bunk. And then it became more of a sort of action comedy, you know, with the sort of Series 3 and 4, where we're doing a lot of film pastiches in that. Like Camille is a sort of pastiche of Casablanca, and there's the Polymorph, which is like a pastiche of Die Hard, you know. We even do it, you know, how can the same smeg happen to the same guy twice, and all that, when he did Die Hard 2, I mean, there's all that. And now it's more of, it's not a sitcom anymore. This Red Dwarf 7 is a comedy drama. So it's sort of come of age, it's changed an awful lot. It's more of a posse show now as well, because...
An ensemble piece, one would say, if one was a thespian.
Yes,
a posse show, of course.
A posse show, you know. Boys from the Dwarf. It's more of a sort of posse show now, whereas originally it was me and Chris and Danny. I used to hate this, you know, you do long, complicated scenes.
We've all suffered on
you know, and then Danny would just come in with one line and the audience would just be laughing. And they'd walk off again and go home. So you've done this complicated setup which has taken 15 minutes, and Danny comes in and goes bang and steals the woofer.
What's happening, guy?
What's happening, guy? And it steals the laughs, you know. But we had to make it more of an ensemble piece, really, because there's only 4 characters, and you know we've done how many hours of it?
Dunno.
You know, you have to sort of develop.
Have you heard from people, though, in the beginning, when the situations and the characters were really what was outstanding? In later series, you can see it's the production values. Obviously, bigger budgets came, and there was more action and a lot more special effects. Have you heard from people who have said, I miss the old heady Red Dwarf as opposed to the flash and splash?
We knew it would happen as well. I mean, because I used to do it when I was a kid and all that, you know, you'd say, oh, I preferred it at the beginning. You know, when there was only 500,000 people watching it, you feel as though you're part of this, like, exclusive little clique of people who are tuned into this. And then, as it, you know, gets more fans, you're bound to get people going, oh, I preferred it in the beginning when, you know, it was only me watching, you know. So we knew that sort of happened. I don't know if it's changed for the better. I certainly know that we have to keep changing it. This last series, Red Dwarf 7, we've done without a studio audience, for example, which is good and bad. I mean, it's like doing exams when you do it in front of a live audience a lot of the time, because you know, you've got about 2 chances to get this line right, because you know, if you don't, the audience have heard the gag. On the third time, they're not going to laugh as much as they laughed on the first time. So
one of the things that the producers didn't like about us having a live audience in was the audience was made up of such hardcore fans that they would recognise a joke coming before we got there. So we do set up.
They'd laugh.
We haven't done the punchline yet, hang on. Yeah. Then we do the punchline thinking normally an audience would already have laughed out by then. Not this audience. This audience then really laughed. You know, it's just extraordinary. And it's great. It's very hard for us to work at it, but I mean, we love it.
Robert, you though did say that you prefer
I much prefer
a live audience.
Yeah, I mean, I hate it in every aspect that it's incredibly hot, it's incredibly tense, it's really difficult, but we all come from a live performing tradition in a sense. That's where we learnt our trade, and I mean, I always worked in front of audiences. I've worked audiences for years, So when they're in there, we all raise our game, don't we? I mean, it definitely clicks up a notch. And
But you're in danger, though, of sort of playing to the
Yeah,
audience
that's
in a
always
way.
the problem.
When there's like millions of people outside, you've got to play it down the camera in the end, and that's why I like the Red Dwarf 7, because I think it's more measured and considered performances.
is.
You know,
No, it is.
you're not just playing to the gallery sort of thing. You know, you're actually thinking about the scene more. And
there were scenes that Craig and I
mugging.
did in Red Dwarf 7 which we've never even approached to doing, which I think are very funny ones. They're very small, they're very tight little scenes, just the two of us, and it's even shot like really close up. And I mean, they're extraordinary. They're definitely a step forward, and we've never had the time or the focus to do anything like that before, because we just have to go, Christ, we're going to get through this as fast
I
as
mean,
we could.
one scene when me and Robbie did together was what episode was it when
remember
you've got the
when we did
groinal attachment on,
Oh, yeah.
and my boxer shorts are shrinking. And,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You're trying to get the boxer shorts off me. Now, we were about as close as this.
Yeah.
And the audience were laughing so much we couldn't hear each other's lines.
That's the first time that ever happened to me. It
You
was
know?
extraordinary.
And that
Yeah.
is really, really. You can see the panic in each other's
Yeah,
faces.
yes.
What are we going to do now? Oh, just keep.
That was Series 3 it was.
Yeah, Series 3. I mean, some stuff that, so the audience can be quite invasive and intrusive, but I like doing it both ways. I wish we could do it both ways, but you can't.
There's talk of us doing it both ways in Series 8, isn't there? Where we'll have, they'll restrict the audience to seeing certain key scenes, which are kind of longer dialogue scenes with lots of jokes in.
Yes.
And then all the complicated, because the complicated technical stuff, if we did any of that in front of the audience, was very hard, because it takes so long, and things, you'll get to the funny line and then something's meant to explode and it never does until you switch the cameras off, and then everything explodes and the whole thing falls down.
How about stunts? Do you both do? There's a lot of action in the later series, especially. You both do the stunts.
Yeah, we do actually do. I mean, I think we've never had. I mean, there's been a few Crichton stand-ins, but they've really been for special effects where you've got two Crichtons or whatever. If we're in a split time zone or something. But no, we've done a lot of falling down and smashing ourselves and crashing off things. You've done most of it.
Oh, I get exploded every day in my life.
There was one where I had
to say any
punch.
interesting stories.
Yeah, I had to punch through a wall to get. Do you remember that?
wow.
That was terrible. Punched through a wall, but the Craig had to stand against the wall, and I had to punch through the wall. Where I couldn't see
Demons
his
and
head.
Angels.
Demons and Angels.
Demons
Punch
and
through a
Angels.
wall and then try and strangle him. And the first about 2 times or 3 times, I punched through the wall, but his head was there, not where it went.
Bang!
So bang in the back of his head, and my hand hurt. So what your head must have been like.
You do get a few scrapes
We
and
got-
bruises,
Yeah, bashed about it.
But I loved it. I love that part of the business, I mean, you do feel as though you feel cheated, when you're just doing the close-up scenes, and then you get some big macho stuntman to come in and fall off the wall, I quite like doing all the falling about and that sort of stuff. So
It's had to have consumed a large portion of your life, other than 8 years. I mean, probably 25 hours a day. You're traveling around the world now, catering to fans, and Robert, you actually wrote a book.
Yes. About being in it.
About being in the rubber mask.
Yeah.
It was.
The man in the rubber mask.
How is this? How has this changed your life personally? Less romance, more romance?
It certainly puts stress on your family when we're doing it, because it just takes over completely. We don't really have days off as such, do we? We just sort of, and it's it's a 3-month production period. So I mean, it's the same as doing a movie or a TV series. I mean, it's the same thing, but because it's so intense and because the hours are so long, particularly for me with the makeup. I just have to put up with the slings and arrows of outrageous relationships when I go back to my partner and
Is it
kids.
getting harder or easier?
It doesn't get easy. No, it gets hard. I mean, you kind of learn to pace yourself. So in that respect, it's easier, because now I know that when I'm doing Red Dwarf, I don't go out. I don't do anything else. I learn my lines in the bath, and I go to bed as early as I can, and try and eat.
I try and get smashed out my brains and go through the whole 3-month period in a blur.
How about the other 9 months? Are you
Well,
do you walk out on the streets and you're mobbed by all kinds of people?
Yeah, I don't mind that. I think
Take
it's
me, Craig,
quite
take
funny.
me.
Steady. It's all right, calm down. All right.
I'm his agent. It's not like that. I'm his agent.
Actually, I do other things. I've got a series called Captain Butler, which for
Tell
Channel
me
4.
about that. What is that? I've heard about that.
I play a pirate called Captain Butler, who's a reluctant mutineer. And I had my head shaved for that, and big earrings in 17th century, lots of sword fights, swinging through the rigging and all
This
that.
was a comedy series?
Yeah. And I do, I think, a late-night chat show on ITV called The Funky Bunker. So, I fill up my year. I write books as well. I've got a book called The Almanac of Total Knowledge out, which is a modest little title. I thought.
And you do stand-up. You do
I
stand-up
do
comedy
stand-up
as well.
all over the world.
And Red Dwarf has, I suppose, helped your bookings. Are you more
Yeah.
sought after?
Yeah, Red Dwarf obviously helps. I mean, it's made us very comfortable and very well known, and it helps. But and I'd hate to think we never got together, even say once a year, to make, even if we don't do a series, to make a Christmas special, something like that. Because it's a family. We've all grown up together. The amount of kids that have been born while we've been on this series as well.
There's a lot of kids. Isn't
You know, he's got 2, I've got 2, Ed Bye's got 3, Doug and Rob have got loads.
4 between them.
4 between. I mean, and none of those kids were
They've all
born
been-
when we first started
Well,
out.
that
I
brings
get
us-
8-year-old kids coming up to me and going, "Can I have your autograph, Mister?" And you've got to think that they weren't born when the first episode went out. And it's like weird.
Yeah.
You know, so I'd hate to think the families, because it is like a family, I'd hate to think that it'd ever break up, you know?
Well, how long can this go on?
Hey, we'll be doing Red Dwarf, The Next Generation. Anybody about that? With my son and yours.
We'll all be wearing very powerful girdles.
Oh, sir! I want to be William Shatner in a toupee and a truss, boldly going.
Well, have either one of you or anybody else on the set come back from trying to audition for something else and said, "I am typecast. I am forever going to be known for what I've done on Red Dwarf"? And has anybody worried about that? Either of you?
I mean, I think
It's
it
not
doesn't.
bad for Robbie because he wears a mask. But
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't worry me. I mean, I don't go to auditions because I get depressed, and that means I can't write, and I earn my living as a writer. I mean, that's what I do really all the rest of the time.
we're offers only chaps, actually.
So,
Yeah, we don't do auditions. Offers only.
I
Love.
mean, so I don't. But I mean, I'm not. I'm typecast as a sort of tragic man who wears a rubber head rather than you know. I mean, I don't. I'm not a trained actor, and I've done a couple of sort of bits of drama acting. It's sad. It's a sad spectacle.
I'm forever going to be associated with Lister. I mean, you can't get away from
But,
it.
I mean, you've done
that's
other
the
things
job.
though. You've done other things and made them.
But none of them have ever been as successful as a Red Dwarf. So, you know, I mean, they've had limited success. You know, they've been successful, but none of them have been as so sort of there as a Red Dwarf is. You know, so I suppose I'll always be listed a curry guzzling slob.
You joked about Red Dwarf: The Next Generation, but there has been talk about a movie, hasn't there?
Yeah.
About a film.
Oh, that's why we did Series VII in a way, because it was like a dry run for movies. It was all single camera and without the audience, so it was like a dry run for the movie.
Yeah, they're very. I think we probably will do one. I mean, I think they've raised a lot of the money for us already, and the producers and the director Ed Bye are so absolutely determined. I mean, they've got and they've booked the studios, and you know. So we do. I mean, officially we're doing a Series VIII next year in about a year's time, and then after that, in the fall of next year, we're supposed to be shooting Red Dwarf the movie. And they're also, I think they're going to try and combine it with a live stage show.
So what we do is
Where we're actually trying out some of the dialogue we'll use in the movie on stage so that we get an audience response and they'll tighten it up and change it.
you get the timing and that,
Where is this going to be going to be a Hollywood film?
No, it won't be a Hollywood
No,
film.
no,
It'll be shot. They want to do it with the original cast in Great Britain, but with American names as you know.
like the way the English always come over here and play baddies. Have you noticed that?
There
All
was
our
an
English
attempt, though.
actors come over
There
here and play
was
baddies.
an American
It was an American pilot
of
yeah.
this program.
American pilot.
He was in it. I didn't even find out about it until the last day of filming, and then it was not from the producer, it was from the makeup lady. I was livid.
This is with the hunky blonde list.
This
He
is
was
it,
actually
What happened
dark.
to
He
the
was
whole,
dark.
the
He's
whole
an
concept?
actor called Craig Bierko, who's done a lot of it. I've seen him snogging in a Danielle Steele snogging drama. Snogging is kissing. Sorry, it's what we call. What do you call it? What do you call it here? Pashing. What do you call it when you kiss? Like that on the lips.
Smack.
Puck it up,
Yeah,
Mac.
Smacking. Smacking, do you call it?
That's very aggressive, isn't it?
That's very aggressive.
Very
Snogging
aggressive.
is as much. You snogging.
Snogging's warm and cosy and round.
Sorry.
What happened to the American Red Dwarf?
It was all very exciting. It's very exciting, Robert.
It bombed because I wasn't in it.
Because he wasn't in it. It didn't bomb. I think it's actually quite good, but I think the internal politics, NBC, it was Universal Television for NBC, and we met lots of men in suits, and they all came in and they all talked, and it was all very exciting. I had to shake hands with lots of people after we'd done it, and then they all went away, and we never saw them again. The day after we shot the pilot, everybody connected with it except 3 of the actors were sacked. The producer, the director, everybody got sacked. But then I saw them and I said, "Are you all right?" And I went, "Yeah, sure, I'm working on something else." You know, it doesn't. If you get sacked there, obviously it doesn't have the same. If you got sacked in England, that's it. You're finished. You know.
But I'm glad it didn't go, of course, because then it would have shifted to America, and I would have been out of a job.
Yeah.
I would have been Captain Butler swinging through the rigging a lot more, I think.
You anything that you want to say to your fans, and there are a lot of them here. Anything revealing that you would like to express to people who really do like this show?
I'd like to know why we believe that aliens, with the technology to traverse the infinite tracks of space, would finally reach Earth and crash. That's what I want to know. What about you?
I'm completely at a loss.
Don't you find it's hard to imagine two Klingons arguing in a supermarket about which is the softest toilet paper? They wouldn't do it, would they?
Is there really a commitment by everybody who's made this such a great show to keep doing this for several years?
Oh, I mean, I think that there's a sort of general feeling, and it's not been stated officially, but a general feeling that Series VIII would probably be the last series.
The last TV series.
The last TV series. But then they want to make movies. They've got like 4 ideas for big movies to do after that. So, the fantasy is that we'll do the last series, and then we'll do a movie a year till we're definitely Red Dwarf, the next generation.
Till we're so fat that even in space we weigh a little bit.
We are looking forward to that. And we'll be bringing our grandkids, we hope, to Red Dwarf, the next generation. Greg Charles and Robert Llewellyn, thanks very much for being here.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
Now, here's a question that we didn't ask last night, believe it or not.
Okay.
And we get a lot of comments from our viewers. Some people like our marathons, showing all 8 in one day.
Yeah.
Some people don't like that. They want one a week.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Well, I'm amazed that you do show them, because they would always show one a week in England. They would never show them all together. But I must admit, I quite enjoyed watching them.
Because we very rarely see the whole thing put together like that. Because if I'm not in a scene, I'm not going to see it until it goes out on television, And if you're not in that night, then you don't get to see it at all.
I saw bits last night I've never seen before. Yeah, we both have. We've never seen. Yeah.
Do they run repeats?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, they do repeat, but like we work, we're not in watching telly,
Okay.
We got jobs, Bob.
Congratulations. That's good news. This person pledged yesterday. How did the computer change from a man to a woman? I think we got into that before.
Holly, you're good at doing that one, Craig.
I'm not sure. I think he just wanted the sex change. He was very confused. He's very confused.
Very confused computer.
But there's a shock in this series. If you didn't watch last night and you're watching for the first time tonight, we don't want to blow the plot.
Right.
There's a shock in this series.
Yeah, I was wondering, any movie or TV?
There's definitely a movie. It's really they've raised the money and it's in the pipeline. And I mean, we may shoot it next year or the year after.
Yeah. Are you writing it?
No.
That'll be
Doug Naylor.
Doug Naylor.
Write
Okay.
it. Yeah.
That's a good question, Nancy. You wrote one of the episodes in the 7th series,
Yeah.
right, Robert?
And he's a writer.
Are you going to do any more?
I wouldn't write anymore. No.
Why?
It's too difficult when you're that close to it, and it was a very stressful experience. I was like this at the end of it. Another rewrite.
But you write books.
Yeah, I write books, and plays and TV scripts and all sorts of stuff.
What books have you written?
I've written 4 books: The Reconstructed Heart, The Man in the Rubber Mask, Thin He Was and Filthy Haired, and Therapy and How to Avoid It.
And can I say, I've written the Almanac of Total Knowledge, and I've got a book out on Penguin, a poetry book called No Other Blue, and I'm doing a Red Dwarf-based book called The Log, which is a dwarfer's guide to everything, and that'll come out before Christmas.
really?
That should do very
Now,
well.
on your poetry, do you have any short one you can say?
I'd like a cold pebble beach. I'd like sea in your hair and salt and sand on your skin. I'd like to bathe my hands in the waves of your hair and bathe your body all tight and trim and shipwreck my soul in your eyes.
Okay.
Would you like to play cribbage or
Okay. 1-800-443-1999. That was lovely. I just have poetry ready to my Craig.
Well, we've lost Craig and we've lost Nancy. I've got one here that either one of you. Have Rob Grant or Doug Naylor ever appeared on the screen in an episode?
Yes, they have.
Where? When?
Rob Grant.
that's right.
In Backwards, smoking a cigarette.
He uninhales a cigarette.
Uninhales a cigarette in Backwards.
Which one is that now?
That's
Rob Grant.
Rob Grant.
Doug Naylor never. I don't think it's ever
I don't
appeared.
think Doug Naylor's been in it now.
Doug Naylor writes himself out effectively.
Yes, he keeps well off the screen.
What do you two think of Star Trek or Babylon 5?
I love Star Trek. I love Star Trek in all its forms, really. I think Voyager, 70,000 years lost in deep space, looking for a way home in a really hot curry. Now, where have you heard that before? But, as for the rest of them, I'm a real big fan of them. Babylon 5, I watch it quite a bit. I'm a Star Trek.
Star Trek,
I'm a Trekkie,
it's part of our life, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm a Trekkie.
Where do you tape the show in England? And where's the studio located?
It's Shepperton Studios. We do it at Shepperton Studios, which is in Middlesex. It's just to the west of London.
And it's very old studios where a lot of movies were made there. Judge Dredd was made there. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was made there.
Yes.
Or actually, both of those movies when we were working there. So that we used to queue up in the canteen in costume next to loads of Robin Hood and thieves and people.
Great.
I think this question maybe gives away a little bit of what the 7th series is, but it's a question, will Rimmer be back? He hasn't left yet.
He hasn't left.
He hasn't left.
Yes. And he will be back.
And he will be back. It's just a case of we all do so many different things back in England that if they say comedy's the new rock and roll. So if comedy's the new rock and roll in England, Red Dwarf like the Rolling Stones, you know.
Yeah.
And we all got lots of different things, so we couldn't match the dates up. So it was either Chris do them all or me do them all, and me being the only human being left alive. You know, it would be, you know, sensible to go with the human rather than the hologram, you know.
How much pressure do you or the writers get to bring back the original Red Dwarf?
Oh.
That great, huge...
Well, I'd like to say keep on watching.
We're all blaming you for losing it.
Well, I got drunk and forgot where I parked it, you know.
What are your comedic influences, would you say?
I actually think Fred Gwynn, for me, is a huge influence. It was Herman Munster. In the
Yes.
Munster.
Oh, yes.
I used to love him as a kid. I just thought he was
do
great.
that now.
Do you
on
imitate-
Facebook. Yes,
you imitate-
Yes.
It's very Fred Gwynn, isn't it?
We had a question. Did you get your laugh from...
It was once when we had an audience in, and I said, "Do you know my dad, Herman Munster?" and the audience just burst out, didn't they? They really. So I thought, oh, that's interesting. You know?
Okay. In DNA, what were the pictures, really, that Crichton shows listed?
With the double Polaroids.
Yeah.
I don't know. You saw him. I didn't see him.
It wasn't Roberts. It wasn't Roberts, but it was someone's, because they played a trick on me and took a picture of their private parts, and then because we've been rehearsing with completely different blank
pictures,
Polaroids. So when I pull them out of my pocket, it was like.
Well, apparently it carried over because someone's gone, man, I gotta find out what those pictures really are about. When Kochanski comes back, now I think they're talking about the 8th series. Okay, when Kochanski comes back, will both she and Rimmer be on, or will one of them go?
No, they'll both be on.
They'll both be on.
They'll both be on. Yeah.
So you'll have a crew of 5.
Crew of 5, yeah. And I can't give that away. No, keep watching.
For Craig, how many episodes do you think you'll make?
Well, we're going to do another 8 next year, so that'll bring us up to 52. And I think, realistically, that might be the end of the television series. But then we want to go on.
But you never know how many movies. I mean, look at Star Trek.
We want to go on and make movies then. And our plan is to make one a year, a movie a year, you know, and do it that way.
Will you take the movie back to the beginning?
I don't know.
You know? Has anybody started the
I haven't heard at all. I think that there is a script which we haven't been allowed to see yet. So what's going to happen?
I got a question here. The first show of 7, which is in Dallas, right? They say the Starbug is gone. They're going after the already. They're getting it. In Dallas, they say the Starbug is gone because of the change in the timeline.
Right.
Why didn't everyone else disappear as well?
Yes. Well, you see,
You better talk to your writers. This is
you see, because
ridiculous.
when time is split in a divergent cross-reference system,
Yeah.
isn't that true? The whole thing goes like this, but it lets certain characteristics fall straight through the timelines.
Like Kochanski, and then you
Kochanski,
shatter him
we
the
all
leg. and
dropped
you-
in.
That's why, if you travel the speed of light, because around the globe, you arrive back in time to see yourself taken off.
That's right.
Now, if you do that 11 times, you've got enough for a game of five-a-side football against yourself, and you've got an impartial referee.
Yeah, there you go.
And you think you're going to get away with that, don't you? You will with Joel and me, but not those folks.
There are many people at home going,
Oh, yeah, they're going to come get
I
us.
think the thing is that if we disappeared as well, it would have been a difficult scene to play. It would have been an empty car park and a sort of a bit of rubber.
You know, I think the viewers are very quick to pick up things that would end the series. Baby, it's over. You know, it's all done. Did Red Dwarf get a big increase in budget? Because it seems like your set is more...
Yeah, it's beginning to look like aliens.
And then, of course, the graphics, maybe that's just computers
I think
improving.
actually, I think
technology's improved.
The technology's improved. Probably the last series got a slight increase, but it was the way we filmed it was so different that they actually had time to light it, and it's lighter. The television is all down to lighting, and if you got that time to spend, it's just the time. It took us ages. Every little scene took a long time. There would be a guy with one little light that he'd move just a fraction, just to catch. I mean, for instance, lighting Danny and me in the same shot is really difficult. You've got the most reflective, whitest face and Danny's black face, and it's really hard to balance that up, isn't it? I mean, that's what they've always talked about.
If you go in the morning to do a shoot. Yeah. Okay, how long are you there? I mean, are you there 8 hours? Is it an 8-hour day?
No, 14-hour days.
14-hour days.
How long does it take to film one episode, or is it all?
Well,
depends,
it's mixed.
The last series was 14. We were 14 weeks in
to
production.
film the series. But in the old days, because it was like it looked more like a sitcom, and sitcom lighting is so very bright.
Yes.
You can actually see the corners of the room and that, you know. Whereas this is more like film lighting. It's
very dark,
cinematic.
much darker.
So it's much darker, and you got a lot more shadow and stuff like that. And that's because we just did it single camera. And you can consider the performances more, but you can also consider the camera work more, the lighting work. So, in a way, I think the 7th series is the best we've done. Although we have lost some of that kind of sitcom frenzy, which was also very appealing to people as well. You know. So, what you win some, lose some, don't you?
I've got one here. This is the one that was given to me that I wasn't supposed to show you, and I was just supposed to spring it on you. Can you sing the Rimmer song, both of you?
Wow. No. I can sing the chorus. Can anyone help me out here? This new Rimmer song.
The Rimmer song. Ooh.
They probably haven't seen it yet.
Why can't we?
Arnold Rimmer. He will never need a Zimmer. He's not bald and his hair's not thinner.
He doesn't eat his dinner.
Not bad. Not bad.
Is there ever any tension or fighting on the set? I mean, you know.
No, not really.
Not really?
Sometimes we throw wobblies, though. You know, it's only because it's so difficult. It's so hot. The costumes are so uncomfortable. The hours are so long. And sometimes
you get a bit frazzled.
We get a bit frazzled.
Which is just regular relationship.
I mean, it's interesting. Everyone who works on the show says that it's the hardest show they've worked on. The cameramen do, the sound guys, everyone who works on it goes, "This is the hardest show." I worked on one episode of Captain Butler with Craig, and it was like a holiday, wasn't it? We just finished
Why
Red
is it
Dwarf.
so hard? I mean, what
I
makes
think it's
it
just
so hard?
technically, we demand such a lot of ourselves, and that to do that technical, it's particularly when you're trying to do comedy and special effects, it's such hard work, it takes such a long time to do.
Plus,
and stuff goes wrong, it always goes wrong.
We always want to be better than the last time as well. You know, it's always it's a process of attainment and achievement. You know, you're trying to be better, top the last series, top the last episode, and you put yourself under a lot of pressure. And sometimes if things go wrong, you do snap. But the cast all pretty much stick together. You know, we generally snap with the production staff. And stuff like that.
How aware are you of the computer graphics that are going to be around what you're doing?
Not at all while we're doing it, no. I mean, that's all done after.
The director talks about it sometimes. He goes, but you know, he just says, well, there'll be a kind of swirly thing, and,
not very
or a
technical.
wibbly thing.
Oh, my.
It'll go all wibbly down here, and then you'll be all right. That's how he explains it.
Hey, will you do your voice and your...
I couldn't possibly do it without the mask on. Too embarrassing. I just don't know how to do it. It's very difficult. Oh, I'm really humiliated, sir. Thank goodness there's nothing down there but plastic underpants and a trademark. Oh, spin my nipple nuts and send me to Alaska.
Is Danny a professional dancer?
Professional dancer.
Brilliant dancer.
Of the highest order.
He's extraordinary, yeah.
What else has he done?
Well, he did Cats. He was
was in the
dancing. He was in
original
Starlight
Cats.
Express.
I was wondering that.
That works.
He's done so much West End stuff, and of course he brought that tongue-tied video out, and the dance he does in that is amazing. You know, when I saw you for the first time, my knees began to quiver, and I got a funny feeling in my kidneys and my liver, digestive system, baby. You asked you, do I love you, but it came a kind of wrong girl. It sounded like a tongue-tied nong-nongy nong-nong-nong-nong.
Thank you very much. Hey,
How come Starbug never runs out of fuel?
that's because of the tachyon drive.
Yeah, the tachyon drive. That's what it is.
That's the tachyon drive, sir. You see, the tachyon drive uses dilithium trillicilium and nephylium helium, and it just keeps going.
Also, because it's a model about that big.
With a light bulb in it.
Thanks to all of you who called. We really appreciate it, and we certainly appreciate the
Got
support.
one more to do. One more to do. This is for Patrick and Everett. We just got to say one thing to you, Patrick. Then.
Oh, extraordinary!
I'm not going to top that. Bye. Ladies and gentlemen, they are here. It is Crichton, it is Lister, it is Robert Llewellyn and Craig Charles. Nice walk, fella. Howdy there. Yeah. Yeah, that little thing on the
How
cheek.
are ya?
He keeps calling me Rimmer, too. It's really terrible.
Oh, admit it, you're mad for it, George. I kiss him every day.
It's wonderful.
Absolutely marvelous, dear boy.
Well, what do you think?
Oh, we love Seattle.
Yeah.
We love Seattle. It's got to be said.
Gentleman over here.
All right.
Thank you. Mr. Charles.
Hi.
Hi. Glad to see you again.
Good to see you.
Saw you at Anglicon.
I had a great time, but I was a bit sick, wasn't I?
Yeah, you're looking a lot better than you did then.
You know that's true.
My question is, did you make it to the airport a lot easier this time?
I was not. Can I tell you, last time I arrived in Seattle, I was strip searched. And it's a bit, they stick the fingers up your bum, and it's a bit embarrassing because they don't even kiss you when they're doing it, do you know? I mean, they strip search you, they don't even let you choose your own music, The guy said to me, like, bend over, spread your cheeks. I went, all right, mate, whatever turns you want. He didn't like that, He didn't even clip his nails. Talking about hair, are you going bald or is your neck just blowing bubbles? I feel a lot better as well.
When they start throwing things, you're going to step forward, are you?
Oh, yeah.
That's good.
No, I'll tell you what happens. When
Good.
they start throwing things, they'll hit me. That's what happens.
And that's how he got to be Crichton. No,
We got one over here.
gentleman right here.
Yeah, first of all, Mr. Llewellyn, I would just like to say welcome to Edmondson Pavilion.
Thank you.
Yes. And Mr. Charles, all I can say to you is, what a guy.
What a guy. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Cheers, mate.
Thank you.
I like him.
Yeah, he's a very nice man.
Very nice.
He's a lovely man. Yeah.
Okay.
Very lovely, lovely man.
We have a nice lady here with a red H.
I have two, one for me and one for my mum right here.
That's cool.
Okay.
She'd
We'll deal
like
with
to
it.
know if you've ever won, the show has ever won an award in England.
Yeah, but we had to win an award in America before we won an award in England, which is a bit weird. We won the Emmy in America, and then the year after we won the British Comedy Award for Best Show, beating Absolutely Fabulous by a few votes.
Wow.
That's good.
And my question is, Rimmer, in real life, is he more like Ace or more like a smeghead?
He's going to
What
be
an
seeing
opportunity.
this,
He's
you
going to be seeing
know.
this, so he's definitely he's like Ace's double. He's Ace's twin brother. He's a kind of lovely and delightful and friendly and cuddly mixture of the two.
He's got a lot of Rimmer qualities, but we're all kind of caricatures of our characters, So he can be Rimmer-esque, but he can be Ace-esque as well,
Right on. Well, come to
Right,
Vancouver.
Chris. Right, Chris.
All right.
We love you. We
We love
absolutely
you.
love you.
If you come to Vancouver, we'll smoke you a kipper.
Hey, thank you very much.
Gentleman right here.
Hi.
Hi, the Red Dwarf theme is a catchy tune, and I find myself singing it all the time.
Join the club.
Does either of you know all of the words?
Yes.
Okay, now
You want to do it?
I have a question. I always stumble over one line that starts out, goldfish are, at least that's what it says.
No, goldfish shoals nibbling at my toes.
Goldfish
Shoals nibbling at my toes.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Imagine it might be, as a matter of fact. Yeah, go.
Oh, wow.
Great T-shirt.
Great T-shirt.
Great
hat.
T-shirt.
This is for Mr. Charles. I was wondering, which is worse, kissing Rimmer or eating dog food?
Betting on Rimmer.
Well, that was actually real dog food as well, with loads of marrowbone jelly on the top. It was horrible. I didn't mind kissing Chris. It was like, it's one of those things where you just got to do it. You know, you close your eyes and think of England, and luckily, I knew who was in the team. So, but the dog food was definitely not a nice experience. And it was like, I did it because, you know, I thought it was the only way I could actually pull that face, and because it is real dog food. So when I do pull that face, it is because the stuff was foul. So you're picking on me.
Well, this one's for you specifically, though.
Oh, all right. Thank you very much.
The Cat Races Bible was based on your laundry list, and the nanobots were taking a sabbatical in your laundry. So, are you holding the secrets of the universe in your laundry basket?
Well,
probably.
No. Just in my pants.
Thank you.
Cheers. Hi.
Do you mind if I ask 2 questions?
You go ahead.
Well, number 1 is basically, can you play the guitar?
Yes, I can.
Oh.
Has anyone got one?
And the second one is, what's your favorite curry?
I reckon it's got to be a mutton vindaloo.
Oh.
Kamikaze hot with a fire extinguisher on standby.
Okay.
Definitely.
And I was wondering, first of all, how old you were when you first started writing poetry?
My first poem I wrote, do you want me to tell you it?
Yes, I would love to hear a poem. That was my other question.
Okay. I want to feel your bum, but I know you'll slap me hand. And every time I see you smile, it makes me alter ego stand. I want to kiss your lips, but I'm scared about me breath. I want to hold your hand, but I'm half frightened to death. I want to drop formalities and let my fingers roam, but my mum's banging on the ceiling telling me to take you home. I want to take you to the pictures, but your study's in the way, and leaving can be grieving when you always want to stay. I want to marry you this instant and let my feelings delve, but my dad said that I'll have to wait because I'm only 12. Thank you.
That's published, right?
I'll be out in a book called No Other Blue. Comes out in October, November on Penguin Books.
Okay, did you get that? Okay.
Okay, an epideme, you know, with the virus, when you lost your arm. Part 2, what was it like to eat that candy that was full of hair?
Oh. Remember when I threw the sweet out of and the sand blew it back in and it got stuck there? I didn't eat it, but I did put it in my mouth, and it was full of nylon. You know, you get those boots that they've got nylon linings. You know, and you wear them for 2 days, and you can smell them about 500 yards away. Or is that just my personal hygiene problem? It was covered in sort of like that, but I did have to have it in my mouth. But it wasn't that bad. It's certainly not as bad as dog food.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hi, I have a question for each of you, if it's okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Charles, I'd like to know if you were a troublemaker when you were a little boy, and if you have any amusing anecdote about that.
Was I? I wasn't really a troublemaker. I mean, there was no malice in me or anything like that, but I was a bit of a class clown, and so I was quite bright, fortunately enough, and I had to get sent to a separate class because I'd mess around in the lessons and then get all A's because I got really good memory, and all my mates would end up with F's and stuff like that. So they put me in a separate class on my own, which is a bit sad, really, isn't it?
And then, Mr. Llewellyn, I want to know when we're going to see more of your significant other who plays Camille.
Oh, well, yeah, she's not really acting. I mean, she only does acting when
Well,
people
we
like me say, go and put the mask on and shut up, you know. She's presently rewriting a really good Disney film script. She's a screenplay writer, so that's what she does. She's stuck in a little room typing away, probably as we speak, in the middle of the night in London. So.
Which film?
I can't tell you the name of it. I don't even remember the name of it, but it's not been made yet. So, but it, who knows?
Do you not take an interest in her work or something? Is it?
Yeah.
And did you really say shut up and put the mask off? It's good to communicate, isn't it?
I know. Yeah, we're really blocked emotionally as a couple. I'll tell you something though about Craig and school. The one thing that it's really reminded me of being back at school doing Red Dwarf, because we'll sit in the studio rehearsing, and Craig will be asking about and throwing my script out the window, and I mean just always doing something like that. And then it comes to the take, and I'm going, what? And Craig knows all our lines as well as his. So it still happens. It still happens. He should be sent to a separate series. Thank you.
When we were doing Pledge for the last 2 nights, when these episodes would come to an end, everybody in the room would be doing the lines, and Craig would be turning around.
Yeah.
You know, he'd hear the lines from the screen, but the sound would be behind him.
Quite crazy.
Wow, weird, huh?
I mean, because a lot of you guys seem to know so many of the lines as well. And when we sort of rehearse, I mean, you film a scene, and because there's so much to do, you've got to let that scene go, and you forget completely about it and move on to the next scene because you've got so many words to cram into your brain. So we don't know that much of the script half the time. And you guys come and quote things, and it just triggers off a thing. I mean, you know you've heard it somewhere before, but you're not quite sure if you've said it or not, you know?
Yes, I found the cargo deck scene in the first episode of this new series pretty interesting. I wanted to find out where that was filmed. It looks like a wind tunnel.
Oh, yeah. No, it was a wind tunnel. Well done. Yeah, it was a...
Well, did you work for Boeing or something?
Oh, I used to.
They probably got... It was an extraordinary thing. We've never seen anything like it, but it's at a place called Farnborough, which is a military airfield where they test a lot of airplanes and things like that.
Rolls-Royce engines.
And it was just amazing to go inside. And if they'd switched it on, we'd have been sucked to mist. Because it goes to Mach 4. That the wind does in that thing, which apparently is quite fast and can move your hair a little, unless you've got a lot of gel in. Yeah. But yeah, you could see, and you could actually see there were these smears along the walls. And we reckoned was a technician who didn't get out in time, you know.
But the whole place is awesome. I mean, it was about 130, 140 feet high, and.
But if you know when and also the sound when we said someone came in and said, you know, do you want a cup of tea? And you go yes. It just went on and on and on. It was it's good fun. And also the section, what was the other one we did with all the snow, with all the ice, with all the Epideme. That was filmed in the building that they tested Concorde's engines in. And when they finished testing Concorde's engines, they went, what do we do with this? It's this size, the building. What do we do with this? Oh, let's leave it there then. Let's leave it. And it hasn't been touched for like 30 years. There's just nothing. They go, oh, well, we'll do something with that. But it's a very English attitude. We'll have to get someone else in to clear it up at some stage.
Gentleman over here.
I've got 2 questions for you. One, yes, 2. To Mr. Charles.
Hi.
Hi. How does it feel like to be God to an entire race of cat people?
Well, there's only one of them.
An entire race, I guess.
That is an entire race, and he doesn't really treat me like God because you see my laundry basket, you know. So, but yeah, it feels kind of special, you know.
And Mr. Llewellyn, how long does it take to get into your costume with the mask?
It takes about 2.5 hours in the morning to have it stuck on, and it takes about an hour in the evening to rip it off, unless Craig gets hold of it, and then it takes 3 seconds. But unfortunately, my face is also on the floor like that.
It's true. When we were doing the sound check for this before, I broke this microphone.
Yes, he did.
The definition of a working prop in Red Dwarf is something I haven't touched yet. It's true. I'm terrible, aren't I? I'm actually
shocking. It's quite shocking.
I actually once pulled off Robert's nose after we thought we'd finished filming. And then there was a whole other scene that we had to do, and it would have been like about 5 hours.
How he did it. Yeah, just a lot of paint, wasn't it?
So we just put like paint on it, and shot it from the side.
But when he did that, it stretched to about like here, this far. Look, there is footage of it somewhere, and I've never seen it, but it does. You know, it's quite stretchy stuff. But yeah, 2.5 hours. Used to be 5. There was one morning when I was going to work at about 4:30 in the morning, going down the lift. Lift doors open. There were Craig and Danny at the gate. Hi, guy, why don't you come to a party? Yeah. And I said, I've got to go to work. So it wasn't a lot of fun then, but it's quicker now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Ma'am?
Hello.
This is for Charles. I'm not copying the other woman, but the only way I could get here is I came from a little island. I had to get on a one-prop pontoon boat plane thing that I had to chase down the dock because it tried to leave early without me. They tried to stick me at the wrong place off. I had to bribe somebody with my extra ticket to get here, change in the front seat of a small car on the way here. And can I come up and sit in your lap for a moment?
You certainly can. I was going to say, why didn't you just use the teleporter? Sorry, George.
Might be my guess.
This is what's known. This is what's known as the perks. This is what's known as the perks of the trade, actually. Woo. Thank you very much. Woo.
What does smeg mean?
So I was curious, in your
the episode time slides when Crichton made the reference to going back to the grassy knoll and shouting duck. Did they use that for the starting of the first episode when you went back to Dallas this time?
No, I don't think so. I think that I think it's a generational thing, that the writers are of the generation whose first
They knew where they
memory
were.
of international news would have been the Kennedy assassination, and I think they're...
So I wasn't born when Kennedy was shot, you know?
I was already a grown-up, but you know, that's just... yeah, I love your jacket.
Yeah, where'd you get the jacket?
Where'd you get
Look
the
at
jacket?
this. Turn all the way around. Let everybody see that. All the way. There you go.
It's great.
Right?
I actually made the jacket.
You made it? Wow.
Oh, make me one.
That's
What size?
that's not your name, is it?
Small. I could live in that one, you know. It's what? It's cracking.
She looks so familiar.
Wait a
Mr.
minute.
Lister, sir, I'm going through a déjà vu situation here.
Hello.
Hello again. I wanted to ask, we don't really get a whole lot of information here about what's going on behind the scenes there, and it always seemed to me like Rob Grant and Doug Naylor were sort of joined at the hip, and now all of a sudden Rob Grant's out of the picture, and I wondered what happened between them. Was the split amicable, and are there any plans for them to come back together and write Series VIII, or what's happening?
I don't know. I think Rob wanted to go and work on other stuff, and Doug wanted to keep with the Dwarf. So they kind of split up. But I think it was amicable. I think they're all friends. I think they've been the best mates since they were 7. You know, they sat together in class. So it was a bit awkward, them breaking up because we're friends of both of them, sort of thing. But
we're a bit like the kids, children in a divorce. We're going,
so you're not quite sure where your loyalties should lie in a way, but it wasn't difficult in a way because we wanted to continue doing Red Dwarf as well, so we obviously went off with Doug.
Young man?
This is for Craig. How did you get 2 appendixes?
You see.
I'm just a very lucky guy, aren't I? I've got 2 of most things. I have one for the week and one for Sunday best. It was that was one of those things that we would answer in Guelph, but it's just a peculiar aspect of birth. I was born with 2 appendixes. But don't worry, I won't be having my appendix out anymore.
He thinks.
Craig, I was just wondering, do you enjoy all the fame with the ladies, and how do you do it?
How does he do what?
I enjoy it from the fellas as well, It's, if you're going to be famous, you might as well enjoy it, because if you don't, it'll drive you mad, believe me. So I enjoy it, but I don't see what they see in me, to tell you the truth.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi, ma'am.
Well, that was my son.
Oh, was it?
It's a family affair.
It's a family thing with hats.
That's very good. I love it.
With the weather going to change, I've got accessory for you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, let me put it together here. It's a hat.
Oh, wow. That's brilliant.
Now, my son introduced me to the Red Dwarf about 3 or 4 years ago. I says, "What are you watching?" And after that, I got stuck on it, and he would watch it over and over again, and I had to tell him, quit it, because he was starting to talk like Lester. Well, I'd like to give this hat to you.
Oh, thanks very much. Cheers. Woo! Thank you.
See, he can use that. It rains as much in England as it does here.
This is a cool hat, this. You wouldn't want to sit, imagine sitting wearing this hat in a theatre, though, and being behind you.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
Hi.
First, I wanted to thank you for hours of pure enjoyment from the last 5 years. It was wonderful. You both are great.
Thanks very much.
And secondly, I heard something about an American pilot that I guess was done, but didn't get taken off. I was just wondering if you knew why.
Robert was in that American pilot.
Yeah. Why? I think it was a difficult period for all of us, really. But it was It was made by Universal Television for NBC, and it was written by, in the American tradition of screenwriting, by 509 writers sitting in a room.
No.
Which, no, I mean, not to denigrate that system, because it works very well if the show has grown out of that tradition. You know, I think shows like, all the shows that we love in England, like Seinfeld and Roseanne, and all those shows that, you know, have a lot of writers, but for some reason it didn't quite work. And there was this script that we were given that was, just went, you know, just didn't. And then Rob and Doug arrived and rewrote it and made it funny, and it, you know, it was good. But there was, I think, and it was an internal political decision on the part of NBC not to go with it. And in the long run, it's worked out very well that it didn't. But I mean, I had great fun doing it personally. It was great for me. So.
I have
Go
one
ahead.
question if you don't mind. I was wondering if this amazes you at times. That so many people want to come so close and just and come so far.
It's amazing. It is. I mean, I went to Chicago, and there was like thousands of people came to see me in Chicago. One person came from North Carolina all the way to Chicago, which I'm told is a pretty substantial trip. And she stood in line for about 4 hours waiting for an autograph. And when she got to the desk where I was signing the autograph, she fainted.
Hi, I'm here all the way from Vancouver with my girlfriend,
Great,
Teresa.
great. Hi, Teresa.
Yeah. We just wanted to say that we really love your show.
Cheers.
Lie mode cancel. And I was wondering what your favorite episodes are.
I've got favourite episodes for personal reasons, you know. Time Slides in Series 3.
I think that's 3.
Yeah, episode 3 was one of my favourite episodes. I thought it was a great story going into the photographs. Plus my younger brother Emil Charles played me as a younger man when he did the song with the afro wig and the big shoes. And so, I mean, that was a personal favourite of mine because I got to work with my brother, you know. I loved Back to Reality because I think that was a great story. And I mean, you know, that whole scene where we're running around the car, or not, as the case was, I thought was hilarious. I loved Polymorph that I did with Robert, simply because of that scene where my underpants are shrinking and he's got the and he's got his groinal attachment on. You know, there's a lot of that going on. The audience were laughing so much in that scene that our heads were like this, weren't they? They were about that far apart, and we couldn't hear each other speaking. You know, so we didn't know who'd said what line, so we just kind of busked it. So yeah, I have, you know, episodes like that for personal reasons, I'm sure. Oh, and can I just say that Beyond the Joke from Series VII is one of my favourite all-time episodes. I think it was so expertly written as well. What about you?
I mean, they're actually similar to Craig's, really. I mean, certainly Polymorph sticks in the memory just for that scene, which we'd laughed ourselves sick at rehearsing, and then we just had got used to it by the time we did it. But it was the most extraordinary. I mean, I'd done sort of like 10 years working on stage in comedy shows by then, and to not be able to hear the other actor at all, completely deafened by the noise, was extraordinary. I mean, it was amazing.
Don't you worry. You're a good man, thanks. Gonna come in closer.
My favorite episode is definitely Back to Reality. I think is most Red Dwarf fans is.
Well, I like Gunmen of the Apocalypse, yeah.
5 hours. Well, we signed about 500 pictures before we came here.
There you go.
We're in the front of it.
Pleasure. Thank you. Oh, hey, crystals. Yeah. I'm into crystals. Would it be possible to get a kiss on the cheek? Hey, come back there.
Wow, all right, yeah, sure. So right on the side here?
Yeah. I doubt it very much.
No, I don't want to spoil it. It's beautifully done.
It's very unlikely Jackie's guys to Alex, really, isn't it, Fred? You know,
it's brilliant.
My hand is completely falling off. Not doing it. Oh, there you go. Went there. Did you guys my calls?
There we go. Does it tickle?
Isn't it hot in there?
It's very hot.
It's a bit boring.
Brilliant.
I waited in line for questions if you missed it by
Oh, what a shame. I'm sorry.
My name's Craig, I'm an alcoholic.
All Yeah, all right.
Okay, enjoying Seattle.
You're feeling all right?
Yeah,
Feeling good.
You're all adjusted to the time?
Completely adjusted.
Yeah, we've been here for a few days now, so...
Did you adjust to the food?
The food's good.
Yeah, food's really good.
Copper River salmon.
Copper River salmon.
Very nice. Very nice.
What is something that you actually don't like too much about Seattle?
Apart from you?
Oh, he's moody. He's gone moody.
This is how it starts.
You did that last night.
There's nothing that I don't like.
Because we're used to the rain, because that's like home.
So it's good. I mean, it's like English weather, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know. So
what other than salmon? What do you love?
Salmon. That black bean soup we had, that was nice, wasn't it?
Black bean soup.
Black bean soup, that was all right, man.
That
Black
was
bean
nice,
soup.
man.
Went up the Space Needle, saw around, man. Great view, lovely.
Yeah.
That was all right.
I'd like to show their shoes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, look, they match.
Matching shoes from Eddie Bauer.
Eddie Bauer. Well, you see, we bought them because you can't get Eddie Bauer shops in London. And then after we bought them, the woman said, oh, we're about to open up 75 stores in London next week. So we're not going to be as cool as we thought when we went back, are we, mate? Never mind.
No.
And then you guys are heading up to Microsoft, what, tomorrow, the next day, something like that?
Tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow.
Tomorrow we're going up there.
I'm going to Microsoft, have a little tour around, man. It's going to be good, man.
Yeah.
Oh, you're going to be there, man. Oh, is he?
Oh, are you going to be there, are you? Oh, good.
Okay. The company's doing well, I've heard. I've heard that. Oh, really? So we should sell now, is that it? Okay, good. Yeah, sure.
I'm buying.
Should we do questions then?
Yeah, you guys have something on your mind? Come on up, form a nice line one by one. Why don't you go ahead and get started?
Hello.
Hello, I'm so glad I'm the first one. I get the nerves out of the way first. Well, welcome to Seattle. I hope you're having a good time.
We are.
And let's see, what is my question? My lines. Will Rimmer ever pair up, and I don't necessarily mean that literally, again with Nirvana Crane in the future?
Ooh. That's Jane Horrocks. She plays Bubbles and Absolutely
Right.
Fabulous as well, yeah.
I told people that, they didn't believe me.
That's true, it's true, yeah.
We had her first.
I don't know.
Well, had her in the sort of acting sense.
We're not talking biblical here, you know. I don't think so. That was just an episode that's gone, really, you know. But I mean, he could do anything he wanted.
Completely, contrary to characters.
Yeah.
See, the thing is, for the first 6th series of Red Dwarf, Rimmer got shagged about 3 times, and he's dead. And I didn't get shagged once.
I gave you a nice back rub one night, sir.
Well, that's not exactly true. That's not true. What about the polymorph and the underwear thing? I thought there was something going on there. I don't know.
Yeah, that got you going.
Well,
when your underwear was getting a bit tight.
No, that wasn't. I did get shagged once, didn't it? But I got shagged by a female version of myself, which,
You have a question over here?
But all my sexual experiences I generally have on my own anyway, But I ain't complaining. Hello, boys. Well, hello. A pretty face and a cleavage you can ski down.
Thank
Okay, my question has basically nothing to do with Red Dwarf, but my entire family's from Liverpool.
Oh, wow, yeah.
From Speak.
Speak?
And they seem to have a big problem with saying the word car.
Car.
See, car. Car. And I want you to say car.
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 See, you all drag it.
See, the thing is, people from Liverpool can't do accents. That's why I speak like I speak in the show, because we can't do accents.
Can Robert say car?
Car.
Car.
Years of training.
Car. I'll work on it, though.
Okay.
All right.
I'll
It's a pleasure.
train him, yeah.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Speak's horrible. I'm glad they moved to Seattle.
They live in Canada. They live in
Canada. They live in Canada.
Still better than Speak. I mean, definitely better than Speak.
Definitely better than Speak. You nearly blew it there, Rob, didn't you?
No, it was close.
All right, man, all right.
All right, keep it calm.
This is my question. I love you, Robert. You're great. I mean, your impression of the mechanoid is wonderful. I sort of have a 2-part question. The first part is, who was the first Crichton? Because I know it wasn't you.
Yeah, it was an actor called David Ross, who's really a rather good actor. I didn't see that episode till after I'd done Series 3, and then I saw him, and I went, oh God.
He had very dark lipstick on.
He had very dark lipstick on, yeah. But he's a lovely guy, and he's also the voice of Talkie Toaster, for
And
those of you.
is the toilet coming back?
What, the toilet when...
Crap,
yeah,
not you.
Yeah, not you. I'd like it to. I like all interacting with sort of inanimate... And that's not easy for me to say. Can you say that for me?
Them things that don't move.
Yeah, those are the things that move, man. I like the I like the toaster, the toilet, and stuff like that. We hope so. I like the scutters as well. So we hope they'll come back as well. Because unless you've seen this new Series 7, I don't really want to give away any plots, but we will eventually, hopefully, find Red Dwarf again, and all that stuff will be on it.
My son has a present for you.
Oh, does he?
Oh.
Ooh, well, come and bring it up then.
Yeah.
He did it on a computer. Red Dwarf names phrases you can use today. 1, you gimboid. 2, you smeghead. 3, transam wheel arch nostrils. Oh, there's loads of them. I won't read them all out now, but tell him thank you very, 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 very much.
Thank you.
Cheers. Hello.
Hiya.
Be sure you guys speak right into the microphones when you ask your questions.
Sorry, I'm an amateur. Anyways, this is more about public life. What's the most embarrassing time you've ever been recognized?
Ooh, I find that some people have got no shame, you'd having a waz in the toilet, and there's a guy standing next to you, sort of going,
can you sign that? Can you?
That kind of happens a lot, and it is that's definitely embarrassing, Plus, the time I was on Crime Watch when you saw me robbing all that money out the bank, that didn't help, No, but generally in toilets, people come up and ask you to sign things before you've even washed your hands.
My worst one was I was having in the country on a country walk with my family, and I was having a wee in a hedge, and a guy in a tractor who was ploughing the field stopped the tractor. I get recognised usually about once a month in England, very rare, and so I was like that. And there's oh, hello there, you're in that Red Dwarf, aren't you? Like that was quite embarrassing.
Yes.
It's obviously very urine
familiar face.
Okay, I'm afraid I'm a guy, so you
All right, guy. It's all right.
We love everybody.
We love
You
everyone.
can't practice sexy overtones on me.
Oh, yes, we can, I want to take you home, beat you, and call you Barbara.
Okay. This is the first time you've been out of the house for a while, hasn't it?
It's true.
Yeah, it is actually. Yeah, it's a sad story, but.
Okay.
Get your question, all right.
Okay. It's fairly obvious that Crichton has managed to lick the old 2000 problem with computers, where when the year goes to 2000, it sets back to 1900.
Yeah.
Since it's been around for 30,000 years already.
Right, yeah.
Is there any chance we could disable that particular part of the program on Sparehead 3 and see if it makes him explode or something?
It's a good idea. Yeah. No. That would be, yes. Well, actually, the only answer to that, is the answer to that problem is when we get serious technical problems, we can only answer in a language that suits that kind of area, which is Gelf.
Yeah. So the answer to that is. Smash it! Oh. All right, little fellow, how are ya?
Yes.
All right, man. All right.
I have a question for Robert. A, how do you keep that mask on? It's rubber, right?
Well, it's glue. It's not faith.
Super?
It's actually a medical glue. In fact, there's a little piece of history for you here. It's a medical glue that was first developed in this country for use in Vietnam. It's a very powerful glue that they used to stick soldiers together who were wounded in Vietnam. That's what it's. That's the truth. And if I was to try and rip the mask off, my face would come off with it, which is pretty. It has to be removed with a special oil.
That's actually not quite true because it's so hot in there that you sweat an awful lot. And I remember once I pulled your nose.
That was after a long day.
And it stretched to about here, and bang!
Yeah, but generally speaking, it doesn't come off. But so that's how it's a glue. It's very horrible, smelly glue. Whoa.
Hey. Whoa. Whoa. Hey.
Okay, 2 questions. Real quick.
Oh.
All right, why did they change your costume in Series 7 from the British? Yeah, for Robert.
Yeah.
From the British costume to the pilot for the American.
It's not the same. It isn't the one that was used in America, but it's darker, I think, isn't it? It was more comfortable. I think the old one fell apart, to be honest. I mean, it gets a battering. So the new one is just new, and it's not quite so smelly. Because after a long day, believe me, after 17 hours where you can't sweat out of anywhere but your bottom, it all gets very unpleasant.
He actually doesn't sweat out of his bottom, he sweats out of his ear.
My ear, yeah, it's horrible.
Because his face is completely covered in rubber, so the only way the water can come out is through his ear, and every now and again you can turn him on his side and go like that, and you can actually fill a cup.
Yeah. And then we give it to Danny.
And he drinks it.
But no, it wasn't. There was no connection with the American. There wasn't that. Because in fact, the American costume was incredibly hot and heavy. It was very bendy but hot. Anyway, sorry, I won't go on.
And will there be a Red Dwarf Doctor Who crossover where, like, you meet down that gravel pit?
Where all the Doctor Who's are filmed. There's only one gravel pit in the whole country. We all have to film. There's queues of science fiction crews all waiting up. We're supposed to be doing, an alien landing at 4:30.
There's actually there was an idea that we could hook up with the Daleks at some stage, and that was muted, and the Daleks were going to be quite nice.
That's right. They were going to be politically correct Daleks. They were going to be going around nurturing plants.
You will be nurtured. You germinate. Hello.
I'm a big fan of Almost Live too, so it's good to see you guys.
Oh
here.
gosh, thanks.
I was wondering, what are some of the stranger things you've been given to by fans, and have you
Well-
gotten your own stalkers yet?
Have I gotten
Your own stalkers yet?
stalkers?
Not really.
Not really. I don't call them stalkers. They're just people who are very interested in you. Don't want to offend them, you know.
There's a guy who writes me letters in England who wants to know he always asks what I wear under the costume, what I do with what I wear under the costume afterwards, and kind of those sort of questions, but lots and lots of them. And I must admit, he's one of the people I haven't replied to. I mean,
I get some people when we're on set, because I smoke, you see. Don't try that at home, kids. And I get some people who, when I've smoked the cigarette and put it out, they wait until I walk away, and then they pick up the cigarette butts and put them in their pocket. That is true.
I've seen it happen, yeah.
It's very weird.
Anyway.
I have a card for you. Could I give it to you for a kiss?
Oh! Hold my calls, I can't speak to anyone. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I've been watching Red Dwarf for a couple of years now, and I find it really funny in most of the series. But I was wondering something within this last series. Chris Berry, who plays Rimmer, has left. Will he be coming back?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And will he be less of a smeghead than he has been in the previous episodes?
Well, we can't guarantee that.
And is the actress who's playing Kachansky, is he going to be staying along with the series when Rimmer comes back?
Yeah. It was the idea was that Chris didn't want to leave. It was that we all do other things, and there's only certain sort of blocks of time that you can get us all together in the same room. So, but Chris is back for the next 8 next time. He did 4 of this one. He'll be back for the next 8. And Kachansky, I thought, did very well. I mean, she's it was a very difficult job for her, Yeah. I mean, cheers. I mean, honestly, she'll appreciate that, because it was difficult for her. Because it's like a boy's own story, and we've been together for so long, and we know all each other's moods and little idiosyncrasies, And I think she came in and did very well, and she's a very good actress and very funny. Some of the best scenes in this series were her. So
she's very tolerant as well. When she first started working, she was wearing quite terrifyingly tight red trousers, and okay, I'm a married man with 2 children, but I had to deal with a lot of sexual thoughts. And so she let me. She didn't let me. No, hold on. I'm finished. On the first day we were filming together, I said, "Look, I've got to look at your bum, otherwise I can't concentrate." So she just stood up, and I knelt down behind him for 5 minutes, and from then on it was fine. I didn't have any problems.
He is such a sad git.
I'm a sad case.
Sad git.
Terrible.
Let's see. We've been wondering this for a while. That thing that you just did, where you go.
Oh yeah.
What is that? What is that called?
It's actually quite a long. I'll try and do it as short as possible. There's a British sports commentator called David Coleman, who sits on the telly and he's doing and here we're going over to the football, and then suddenly he gets a bit of information in his earpiece, and as he's listening to it, it's quite extraordinary. Now he's probably once in his 40 or 50 year career said it's extraordinary, but Chris Barry used to impersonate him on a show called Spitting Image. So Chris used to go, oh, extraordinary. And for some reason, then we all did it. And now Chris says he can't do his original impression. He can only do an impression of us doing an impression of him doing an impression of David Coleman. So it's just a sort of silly in joke that you get once you spend that long in a spaceship. Things go weird.
They do go weird.
And then one last quick thing. Craig, could you improv a short poem?
Improv a short poem? No, why did you ask that? I knew this kid at school by the name of George McGee. He was always passing wind and blaming it on me. He'd hit me in the classroom and he'd kick me in PE. Like, he'd wait for me to get the ball when we were playing in the gym. He'd either push me over or kick me in the shin. He was that sort of kid. So the kid who cheats at conkers. It wasn't totally his fault, though. His family were bonkers. His dad did his homework once. It made me a jealous sight. That isn't until he got his book back and found out it wasn't right. But he was that sort of kid. The sort of kid who washes hamsters in Vim. The doctors took him away and did some tests on him. I hadn't seen him from that day to this until, despite my pleading, the little sneak on Tuesday week, he pulled me up for speeding. Thank you. Hello.
Hi.
Question for Mr. Llewellyn. In Duck Soup, those words that Christine Kochanski was hearing in the pipes, do you happen to remember how they were spelled?
Squillucal. Nurut.
Nurique, Squillucal, and
Retum.
Yeah. How were they spelled? Nurique was N-U-R-E-E-K, or Q-U-E. Nurique. Yes, it was Nurique. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the script. Squillucal was S-Q-U-E-L-E-Q-U-E. There was a lot of Q-U-Es in it. Squillucal. And Hanunk. Was it Hanunk? Hanunga. H-E-R-N-U-N-G-A. Hanunga.
Do you have a test?
The reason I'm asking is I suspect the plumbing in my apartment is speaking an ancestral version. Yeah. And I want to tell it where to go.
Hello.
Hiya.
Hi. I'd like to thank you guys, but I have a question for Chris.
Craig.
Okay.
I
know.
Chris. I'll ask him if you want. I'll get him on the phone.
Okay. That works. How did you feel when the girly show they called you the wanker of the week?
I was upset for about 2 seconds, and then I thought, well, my mate went out and got me a baseball cap. I mean, you know those Wicked Willy things? Those Wicked Willy. We got a model Wicked Willy, and we stuck it on it, and I walked around London with it for a whole day. So I wasn't that upset. I mean. Yeah. It's one of them shows that if they talk about you, so what, you know? Yeah. And it's everyone's a critic.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Mr. Spielberg.
They weren't wrong. Hello.
Hello. I was just wondering if there's a problem because you're known through Red Dwarf in England about finding other work in the way of actors. Because a lot of times here in the United States, when you do sitcoms, you're known through that, and then they sort of typecast you as certain types of people.
I'm quite lucky in a way. I do a sitcom on Channel 4 where I play a pirate, and I have a completely shaved head and big earrings and pantaloons and do swings of the rig and having sword fights and that kind of stuff. I do a chat show as well on another channel. So I'm lucky enough to get lots of work. But yeah, I mean, it would worry anyone. But I wouldn't mind. I don't mind being typecast as Lister. I'm quite proud of Lister. I'm proud of the creation, and I don't mind. If someone wants to give me, if every gig I get means me eating loads of nice food and drinking loads and loads of beer, then I'm happy.
Hi guys.
Hi.
I just had 2 brief questions. First, this is not a continuity bit because it's all in the same episode. I have to be careful about that, I guess.
There might be someone tearing their legs off over there.
Don't worry, I'll cure him. So anyway.
It was just at the end of the episode where the weird chemicals had allowed you guys to enter photography and manipulate history.
Time slides.
Right.
By the way, my brother, Emil Charles, who's an actor, he plays me as the younger man, right. With the afro doing the Om song. That's my brother Emil. That's one of my favourite episodes because I got to work with my brother for a week. It was really good. carry on.
So just at the end of that, Rimmer comes back with a body, and he takes a bite of his peanut butter and crispy sandwich, and then suddenly, for no apparent reason that I can see, he spontaneously explodes.
Well, if you go watch your video, go back to it, you'll see when he goes, I am, I am alive.
Right.
He throws his hands down like that, and there's two boxes marked high explosives. Oh.
Other brief question. I study philosophy here. I was just wondering from you guys, what's your basic philosophy of life?
Well, Nietzsche said God is dead, but now Nietzsche's dead, so it didn't get him very far, did it?
And you, Robert?
Socrates said get off my foot, but he was only wearing sandals.
After that, it's quite difficult to have a philosophy. I think my philosophy is to survive, go to America with Craig Charles.
You're doing well.
I'm doing well. I'm having a great time, actually. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Hiya. Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you.
My question has to deal with Frankenstein. Frankenstein gave rise to a whole species of cat. Will a cat ever meet any of its family, relatives, see any of them?
I think if you remember Series 1, Episode 4, I think it was called Waiting for God, where we saw the cat priest just before he died. I think now the cat is the last of the cat race.
But will we find out why they disappeared, what happened to them?
We sort of didn't really discover that when they followed the coordinates of my laundry list and flew into a waiting sun or something. But we could go back in time and see the cat growing up. I mean, I know there's moves to make the cat, because we had a great episode for the cat, didn't we? Which we didn't have time to film for this series. So
there's a very good, very I can't give the plot away because even telling you anything of it would blow it. But it's an extremely funny episode, very much focusing on the cat.
Will he dance again? Will he dance again?
I think if we do that episode, we'll definitely see some serious dancing.
He's a brilliant dancer.
He's such a good dancer. Yeah.
Brilliant dancer.
Thank you.
Danny was actually a professional dancer before he was an actor, you know. In fact, he was in the original West End production of Cats. It's true.
This is for Craig.
Hi.
Hi, how you doing?
I'm all right, man. How are you?
Episode 5
Yeah.
of Series 7.
Yeah.
I would like to know,
Yeah.
when you saw the script of you and Mr. Rimmer kissing,
Yeah.
how did you react to that when you first read it?
Well, I got a bit of a stiffy on. Do you know they actually cut that kiss short because we were smooching. That's what you call it over here. We were smooching for ages, you know. They make me kiss everything, don't they? Everything that's unpleasant, I get to kiss. You know, I get to kiss dung beetles. What were they? What was that dripping into my mouth? Went the siren. Kind of some lubricant.
Yes, a veterinary lubricant.
Yeah, that sort of vets put on their. That's what it was, dripping into my mouth, and Carmen with
his face comes off, yeah, mouth comes off.
Whose mouth came off and mine. I get used to it. It's kind of a ritual humiliation on Red Dwarf. Kind of what can we get Lister to do next, which will be really offensive to Craig.
Okay.
Hello.
Hi, I've got two very brief questions. The first one is to both Craig and Robert. If you could only use one word to describe yourselves, what would it be?
Smeg.
And mine would be head. Thank you, Craig, for that.
Okay, the other one was kind of a request. I know a lot of people are coming up here and asking for hugs and kisses and that sort of thing. And I know I must not be the only chick in the audience who's totally in love with you, Lister. Okay, so instead of spending all that time, I was wondering if I could put in a request. Maybe you could kind of have a nude scene in Series 8 or something.
Well, if you ever get to see a sitcom called Captain Butler, I'm nude in that, where it comes up my legs and on my bum and up my back and all that, and it looks like I'm, making love to someone because I'm in love with this mermaid. And when the camera pulls up, you'll see the mermaid sitting over there, and I'm just fertilizing the eggs.
Thank you.
Which was a funny. It really is quite funny. But I'll get my kit off for anyone. I don't mind.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. So,
Hey guys, it's not just the ladies that love you.
We could deal with that.
Oh, okay. I did have a serious question. I guess this is the first time you actually had a written contribution. Yeah, thank you. English, American. Anyways, do you guys actually have a lot of ad-libbing that they let you put into the script, or is there some stuff that they will not let you put in because it's so bizarre? And what would maybe be the top?
I mean, the scripts are written so well through the whole series, that we don't sort of we don't kind of fit lines in all the way, but occasionally we would put a little tagline on the end of a scene or something like that, and we used to call Rob and Doug the comedy police, the two writers, because they come on stage and go, yeah, no. And that was it. You didn't argue with that. And then sometimes they go, yeah, that's funny. That's exactly what they like.
That's what they like.
So, there are occasions when there might be a little, one line or a little thing, but I mean, it's like 99% as the original script.
There was a bit more going on this time because obviously Doug and Rob didn't write together, and Doug was using lots of other co-writers. And so there was a bit more scope for it there. But we do play a thing called tag that line sometimes. If someone thinks of a funny line which is funnier than the end line, and tag it on.
Oh, they put it in. If it's funnier, we'd always get put in. Yeah.
Well, I thought the interplay between the characters in some forms. You didn't guys go through like the whole cycle of the Space Corps directive and in and out of the space bug, or star bug, and you guys had a little bit more interplay this time. It was kind of nice.
Good.
Cheers.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Cheers.
Two of them. Question over here.
Hello. Each of us have a question. My question is that in the episodes, all the annoying characters like the virus or the dog or the ego, Craig's ego, they're all played by at least people affecting American accents. Is this some attitude towards us, or is this a?
They're really early on in those early series and that. And when we did Red Dwarf 1 and 2 and all that, we didn't know it was a quaint little curious English comedy. We didn't know that Americans were going to get into it at all. So, we were just there was no design to sort of like for it to translate into American.
But also, I think there may be a balance thing, because often in things like Beverly Hills Cop, the real nutty psychopathic chap is actually a bit of a chap.
Yes.
So, we're all waiting to play bad. All I would want to do is play a real baddie.
So it's retaliation, basically.
Yeah, it's a balanced exchange of love.
Because all the English actors in Hollywood always play psychos, don't they? Gary Oldman is a psycho. Who's the guy in Die Hard? Two guys in Die Hard, Alan Rickman and
Jeremy Irons.
And Jeremy Irons. They, so
all the baddies are English now.
All the baddies are English.
Used to be Russian in the old days,
didn't they?
Yes,
or German. They bombed our houses.
Did they?
They did.
That's really awful.
Robert, how did you come up with your accent, the Crichton's accent?
It's not really Vancouver, because I did spend some time in Vancouver about 10, 12 years ago, and it was lovely. A beautiful city. And I had a lovely time there, and I just thought that I was doing a Vancouver accent, but I know I wasn't. But it's sort of become. It's also, there's a guy on television in England called, I can't remember his name. And he's from Boston, and he does strangle his vowels in quite an extraordinary way.
Lloyd Grossman.
Lloyd Grossman, and he says his own name, Lloyd Grossman. So he's sort of a posh Boston man, and so it's kind of, that was a bit of an influence. And
I'd just like to say that Robert would like to apologise to the people from Vancouver, wouldn't you, Robert, for insulting them on Channel 9 the other night?
I blew it all together.
Saying that they spoke with really tight mouths.
Well, no, I meant that there was a sort of lovely, charming way that
I'm not putting you on the spot here, Robert.
You've mentioned that you guys are you were an all-boys show for the most part, and then you brought Chloe on. I was wondering if that was from pressure. Was that just to spice up the plot, or was it pressure from the female male viewers, I guess?
No, we thought it would just open up a whole new dynamic, which it certainly has, and Red Dwarf 7, simply because we filmed it on single camera, it could be a more considered sort of performance. You can get more emotion into it, and it's nice to bring some emotions into the show. Sort of Crichton's jealousy, Lister's lust, Kachansky's misery,
That was my second question. Are you bummed that you're not getting any?
I am not getting any, and the closest I got was a punch on the face off her, Well, she snubbed me once, but that was when she was concussed, But it was good to have a woman, simply because it does open up the whole new dynamic, and it stops it being so laddish and so boys-only.
I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay. Robert,
Chris, over here.
Oh, all right. Well, I really can. It's against my programming, but I'll...
Gotta move on. Yes.
Hi guys, thanks for doing what you do.
Thank
we really
you.
appreciate it.
Cheers.
And by the way, Robert, I am from Vancouver.
That's a great city. It is a great city.
My question for you is either you're going to hate me or you're going to answer me in Guelph. In Legion, when Legion turned Rimmer into a hard light, he said that he had all his senses and that he could not come to harm. Yet in Stoke Me a Clipper, Ace Rimmer, who is now a hard light hologram, takes a shot to his hard light core, and all of a sudden he is dying.
Yeah.
So can you try and explain that?
It was those.
Was that a hard light bullet? Was it?
It was the hard light bullets that that particular group of Nazis in that dimension had hard light penetrating bullets, which were really deadly.
His mouth's not that tight.
It's not. He's got a lovely, loose, relaxed mouth.
Thank you very much, guys.
Okay. Pleasure.
It's over here.
Hi.
This is really cool because I also like Almost Live, but I have a question and a short story. The question is, what is your favorite episode that you guys have ever done?
Oh, I don't really have favourite episodes. Time Slice is one of my favourites because my brother was in it. I mean, that's for a personal reason. I like Back to Reality. I love that story. I have favourite scenes, like the scene, the scene with the shrinking underpants is a favourite scene of mine. I like some of the scenes that we did in Duck Soup in this last series as well. I mean, I think dialogue-wise, that was a really cool show, although there wasn't that much science fiction in it. I like the scene where the tank comes out of the water and from beyond, and that big explosion. I mean, I have favourite scenes rather than favourite episodes. How about you, Bob?
Yeah, no, I'm saying. I mean, I love the landing in the Texas Book Depository. I think is that moment there, and realising where we are, and
the double take you do on the that was good.
Hi, I am a Kachansky.
Are you?
Yes.
Let me shake your hand. Come here. Cheers. I've never met one before. I've met a couple of Arnold Rimmers. They come in and they go, "Oh God, you're never going to guess what my name is." And I go, "What?" They go, "Arnold Rimmer," and I just burst out laughing. It's a terrible thing to be called.
We don't have a Christine in the family, but that's because we didn't know the show early enough. I was wondering where Rob and Doug came up with that name, because it isn't a very common name.
No, it's not a common name. A lot of the names they used to call them from ex-school friends and old school friends and things like that. Because Rob and Doug went to school together when they were 7. They've been best mates since they were 7. But I don't know where they got the Kachansky from.
Do you know what its meaning is?
No, do you?
It's love.
Love. So, Christine, love.
So Lister is searching for love.
I am. Oh, wow. Hey, there's a whole subtext there, isn't there?
Marvellous.
There's a whole subtext.
Thank you very much for that. We'll relay that back.
Hi, I'm Cameron.
Hi, Cameron.
And what I wanted to ask was, Lister and Kachansky are the last human beings left alive. The human race is extinct. They're 3 million years in a deep space on a rickety spaceship with an insane mechanoid and a, self-effacing cat. What keeps them going? How do they stay sane? What are their hopes and dreams for the future?
Well, the whole concept of bringing the hologram Rimmer back was to keep Lister sane.
Yes, but now he's gone. So.
But no, he's back. He hasn't gone. He's just gone off on a couple of private adventures, and he'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the idea there, and he won't be gone for very long. But it was. I don't know. I don't know. I'm stumbled. I don't know.
Oh, could you wish my friend Tony Staples happy birthday?
Hey, Tony, happy birthday.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Yes.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. We're a package. How long did it take Lister, the character of Lister, to learn to fly Starbug? If he was like the lowest rank on the ship, I'm assuming he never had that opportunity before.
Yeah, but it's set in the future, and it's like driving a car flying in the future. Everybody does it.
Okay, that was simple.
That was a very simple answer, wasn't it? We could give you the answer in Guelph, which would take longer, but.
I'd have to have it translated.
Yeah.
Too, so thanks.
All right, thank you.
We wanted to tell you that we think you're the greatest thing to come out of Britain since the Beatles.
Thank you very much. I'm from the same town.
Yeah. All right.
Cheers.
Ask you guys about your histories before doing Red Dwarf, because I don't think they asked any of those
Sure.
questions.
No, cool.
All right.
Yeah?
You ask what you want. We're with you.
I was a male masseur.
Pardon me? 5 minutes. Great. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Great, we get you guys for 5 minutes.
Brilliant.
So can you first of all tell us a little bit about what you've been doing in Seattle for that?
Can you put that up to your eye for us, Robert? Just go. Dun, 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 dun.
That works for me.
You were there?
Yeah,
Sorry, carry on.
So you've kind of been doing that since you've been in Seattle?
We've just been...
Okay, Sarah, stand by, please.
We didn't get that.
I was there.
Oh, we didn't get that. I love that, James Bond.
I liked it too.
I'm going to be the new James Bond, I think. Lovely. You'd be good, James.
I'd be very good. Yes. Shaking.
So
Sorry.
Hello.
I'm here with Craig Charles and Robert Llewellyn, and my question is, what have you been doing in Seattle since you've been here for?
Drinking micro beer, which
Yeah.
gave me a macro hangover, and we walked around the folk festival thing today.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was good fun.
Yeah, really good.
I'm not being funny, but there's more folk music I've seen in Seattle, more kind of English and Scottish, sort of an Irish river dancing and sort of bagpipe playing than I've ever seen in England.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very popular here. Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
So we walked around there, and then we had a couple of drinks, and then a couple
We went
more
out
drinks.
to some bars last night, and then we went out to a bar and we stood at this bar, and then a man, a fellow, a guy,
a bloke,
in,
geezer.
a
Geezer said, "All right, geezer."
Turned around and he said, "What are you doing here then?" And he was from London, so that was a bit of a shock.
And he recognized you
Yeah,
both.
yeah.
Have you been recognized a lot, even though you've been here?
Well,
with
yeah, a hell of a lot. Yeah.
Robert doesn't because he wears a mask, but
I'm usually safe from it, but walking with him is fatal because.
And what do they do? What do the fans do?
They get very excited because, let's face it, I mean, I'm from Liverpool. They don't expect to see this Dave Lister guy. They don't expect to see him in the middle of Seattle, do they?
Last time we saw him, he was 3 million miles from Earth going the wrong way. So,
So,
there's a bit of that going on.
They get really excited. But it's nice. I mean, people over here are
There's
so
this-
much
there's a
really
great-
gentle about it.
there's a
They
great-
don't crowd you. They're very polite,
Yeah,
which is
very
good.
nice. There's a great expression that people have when they see Craig and they go, "Oh, it's Craig! Oh wow!" And then they look at me and they go, and they just can't get it in because they go.
Sometimes I've noticed the hint of disappointment playing around their eyes as well. Robert, a hint of disappointment. He's so much more attractive in the mask.
They've seen that man with those chiseled features, and then they see a man with a face like an uncooked pudding, and they go, "What a shame! What a shame!"
And then they sort of ask for an autograph,
Yeah,
or what do they do?
Yes, ask for an autograph. Yeah.
Buy you a drink?
Well,
Sometimes.
Sometimes. I think I've signed every piece of anatomy ever. I mean, I've signed.
We've heard it today.
I've had people with tattoos of my. So I'd sign their arm, and then they go and get it tattooed.
Really? Here?
No, not here. That's in England. That's odd, though, isn't it? That's very odd.
I don't know. It could catch on. That's the whole thing. Starting a trend.
We get a bit shocked by because we don't see ourselves as sort of stars, as it were. We're just.
Well, you're not walking
normal
around
blokes.
with protection then. You're
No,
not
we
walking
haven't
around
got
with
minders or
big
anything like
heavies,
that.
Yeah.
We're just normal blokes, who do a job of work. That's the way we see it. But people seem to get excited about it. I think the stars over here get treated a lot differently than the ones in Britain, don't they?
There's not the same sort of I don't know if not the respect as well, but I mean you would generally get if you become it's tall poppy syndrome we have in England. If you get too big for your boots or too big-headed or you get they'll cut you down
really?
very quickly.
So as Casey Kasem says, you have to keep your feet on the ground while you're reaching for the stars.
Does Casey say that?
Casey always says that.
Oh, he's a marvellous man.
I love Casey.
So that sounds sort of history. What did you do before you did?
I was an armed robber. I started off as a poet. I got famous in England as a poet. I did a sort of television programmes where I'd sort of recite my poetry and stand-up comedy. I used to do a lot of stand-up comedy. I used to do a show called Saturday Night Live and another series called Wogan, which is like the big chat show in England. It went out 3 times a week, and I was on that every Friday with a topical poem. And then
funny poems, serious poems.
Some funny, some serious. Sort of some love poems. I'd like a coal pebble beach and sea in your hair and salt and sand on your skin. I'd like to bathe my hands in the waves of your hair and bathe your body all tight and trim and shipwreck my soul in your eyes.
I think I'm melting.
I'm in there, mate.
You're all right now, mate. You're all right now.
Anyway, what did you do then before?
Well, I was, I don't know how far you want to go back, but I used to be an orthopaedic shoemaker, if that makes any sense at all. I actually was, in fact, I was a bespoke bootmaker for the Royal Bootmakers in London, John Lobbs and Company, and I have made Prince Charles's polo boots in about 1978. That's my claim to fame, and I've stretched Frank Sinatra's boots, and I have, who else did I do? Duke of Edinburgh's. I rehealed the Duke of Edinburgh's black brogues. So that was why I did that. I can't begin to tell you how I got into doing that. But all the time I was doing that, all the people that I worked with told me to shut up. Will you stop doing funny voices? Will you stop walking around doing a funny, being a chicken? Will you go on a stage and leave us all alone? And eventually that's what I did. You know, I didn't know that I was allowed to, but I went on a stage and thank goodness some people laughed and I stopped being a shoemaker. And
Oh, thank goodness,
yeah.
right.
I mean, it was a very hard, very badly paid job being a handmade shoemaker. It's not a very well paid job.
It reminds me of that episode of Red Dwarf where Lister's talking about a mate of his who had smart shoes, shoes with artificial intelligence. And these shoes could get, you know, no matter how drunk he got, these shoes could always get you home.
That's
you know?
right.
And he got drunk one night in London and woke up in Oslo because the shoes got bored with just going from his local pub to the flat. He wanted, wanted to see the world. So he locked these boots out and they kicked the door down and got back in. And in the end, they stole a car and drove it into a canal because they couldn't drive, they couldn't steer easy. And but they drove it into a canal and they drowned these shoes. And he was pretty cut up about it. And he went to see the priest. And the priest said, "It's all right, mate. The shoes have gone to heaven because it turns out shoes have souls." That's a Red Dwarf story.
It's very good.
It's pretty great.
Very sad. Sad. The fact is, I can remember it, which is even
It's quite
sadder.
tragic. It's quite tragic, Craig.
I'm such a sad, tragic person.
And romantic, which we've
Very
seen
romantic.
here
Oh,
today.
very romantic.
Lovely.
Anyway, I'm afraid I have to wrap it up now.
Okay.
I just had that little brief period of time with you both.
Thanks
It's
very
been
much.
a complete joy. What a treat.
Thank you.
Thanks.